Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the weekly trade recap. Today's trade was indeed a W, which of course I took live in front of my Discord. This was on the Nasdaq for a 2 RR. So obviously you guys know that I target a fixed 3 RR. However, I did say today that I was gonna slightly lower my target and also slightly lower the risk of the trade due to the fact that we do have FOMC within the PM session. Okay, so usually whenever you have a large news event in the PM session, or for example a large news event the following day, the day before or the session before tends to chop up, generate liquidity on both sides of the range. Therefore the targets that you may be aiming for may not get hit and equal highs or lows may be created. Okay, so that's the reasoning behind the slightly lower target today. Nevertheless, it was still a 2 RR and a very solid trade. You can see we experienced pretty much no drawdown. And yeah, to me this was pretty much an A+ sell, to be honest. So let's go ahead and break it down. Let's first remove the trade. So what we need to do is pull up, of course, our triad, and we'll start on the daily chart. Okay, so daily chart establishing our bias for the day, looking at the candle closures. Okay, so candle closures here, as you can see, recently we've been trading inside of this small range here. Okay, and also the way that yesterday's candle closed, it failed to take out the previous day high and also low. So this means that we are inside of a consolidation, of course. So the daily candle wasn't necessarily extremely clear what it wanted to do. So this is when I like to utilize the lower time frame a lot more. Of course, I'm always utilizing the lower time frame anyway, but usually it's followed by a clear daily candle bias as well. In this case, it wasn't. Okay, so I'm open to both longs and shorts, and I'll break down why I took down a long today. But initially, well, not initially, but we have taken the previous day low on all assets, as you can see. However, usually I like to see a weekly cycle SSMT whenever this takes place to allow me to get that long bias for the day. But a little trick that I use is, well, whenever we see all assets below the previous day low or high, of course we don't have that weekly cycle SSMT, which usually indicates that we're going to get a continuation lower. However, if we form one cycle lower SSMT below the stacked opens of that cycle, then that's fine. That allows me to know that we are going to have a reversal, or more likely than not going to have a reversal. In this case, no weekly cycle SSMT because all assets are below that previous day low. Next best thing is a daily cycle, must be below stacked opens. Okay, so as you can see, the true day open is below the true week open over here. So this means that we are at an extreme discount in terms of the true opens. So all we're looking for now is the cracking correlation being the SSMT. Okay, so as you can see, all assets ran out, London's low. So to the normal person, no SMT formed here. Okay, no sequential SMT, all assets below London's low. But when this occurs, if you guys watch my hidden sequential SMT video, you would know that we can have SSMT between bodies. Okay, so as you can see, lowest closure, you always want to mark out the lowest closure or lowest wick when looking for regular SSMT. As you can see, we failed to close below the lowest closure of Q2 London session for NQ. However, if we take a look at ES, you can see obviously closed below, and also YM obviously closed below. Okay, so now we have the hidden SSMT. We already had this and it did already give a move higher. Actually no, initially this was regular SSMT, gave that move higher. So we went from a discount, cracking correlation, back up to a premium. And then we also had an SMT filled there, which allowed price to come back lower. 9:30 opened up, because I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do today. Like I said, the daily candle closure wasn't too clear. So I was waiting on 9:30 to clear up any doubts that I had. And as you can see, 9:30 always coming in clutch, confirming the idea for the day, okay? So very, very nice total soup lower, and still failing to close below London's lowest closure, okay? So to me, very, very much bullish. We're going from a discount to premium, premium back to a discount, cracking correlation at a discount. And now if price is truly bearish, there's no reason for it to begin trading higher, okay? Because we've already satisfied price coming back to a discount, premium, sorry. So, because we've already done that once, no reason to do that twice, okay? So if we're going to do it twice, we're most likely bullish, okay? So that was the thought process behind it. So my target, of course, was London highs. You can see that YM did take out London highs over here as well at 9:45, while NQ is all the way down here, okay? So why did I trust this, right? Why did I trust this? So if you look at the 4 hour, you can see that for the weekly, for this weekly candle, we do have a bullish monthly cycle SSMT, and we are currently inside of a 4 hour TCISD, okay? So because we're inside of this, We also formed a PSP there as well, which came after the daily cycle formed anyway. But when we entered, this was here, okay? So we're still, trading inside of the 4-hour bullish TCISD, bullish monthly cycle. This was also a bullish weekly cycle as well. And of course, this candle heavily rejected after taking these 2 candle lows, okay? And also barely any wick to the upside of this candle. And we have this candle here being a very nice draw on liquidity, okay? So that's why I chose to trust the daily cycle SMT. And also another reason why, okay? The reason why is because we had a second stage of SSMT. As you can see, bullish 90-minute SSMT, okay? So all assets wick below Q2's low at 9:30 as well. So essentially at 9:30, we create a double manipulation, okay? 90-minute and daily cycle SSMT. Again, for the 90-minute, it wasn't hidden as well. We go ahead and mark out the lowest closure. You can see the NQ closed below it very clearly. Same with ES. But if we take a look at YM, lowest closure, didn't close below it, okay? So we're failing to close below on also the 90-minute cycle, the 5-minute time frame. So to me, this is now confirming everything, okay? This is now confirming that, okay, we're definitely bullish. So what's the final part? Entry model, okay? What's my entry model? 5-minute TCISD, true change in the state of delivery. If you don't know what that is, go check out my video of that on my YouTube channel. So this was confirmed here, okay? So the candle that created the SMT, closure above, and now wait for price to trade back into it, okay? We also had a 5-minute gap, so even better, okay? 5-minute gap, we also had this 5-minute inversion. This was also the 15-minute TCISD. As you can see, 15-minute TCISD there overlapping with the 5-minute one. This was the beginning of the new 4-hour candle. We put in the PSP on the 4-hour bullish swing point as well, as you can see. So expecting open low, you can see close bearish for NQ, bullish for YM. So expecting 10 o'clock to open low, put in a high and then close, okay? So what we're waiting for, open low into our entry model, which you can see happened here. 10 o'clock, wick straight into it, into the TCISD. So this gap didn't even need to be here. This was just extra confirmation, okay? Because we also formed another cracking correlation inside of it, SMT fill, okay? So as you can see, ES failed to trade below 50 and also failed to trade below the gap completely, whereas NQ did, okay? So SMT fill right there. Again, check out the video on my channel if you don't know what that is. So this is A plus, right? We have the daily cycle confirmed, 90-minute confirmed, trade back into it, 5-minute SMT fill inside of the TCISD. As you guys know, I like to enter on the 1 minute. So at this point, once price tagged into it, I'm dropping down to the 1 minute and waiting for confirmation that price is now trading away from it, okay? What is my confirmation? Inversion gap, okay? Inversion occurred. I wanted to get my entry off this inversion here. As you can see, price never traded back into it, but I had a very high conviction in this trade, so I did enter just off the second fair value gap. Pretty large stop loss for me, but because, like I said, I like to lower my targets, lower my RR on FOMC days and major impact news event days. I think it was a slightly better entry because we got to our around about, yeah, on this candle there, I think it was. Oops. So you can see price trade into it. Again, like I said, I really didn't want to miss this entry, so slightly larger stop loss than usual, but because I was going for a smaller target, it didn't really matter as much, okay? So as you can see, 2RR got hit very nicely, and also that was London highs as well, okay? So London highs, eventually the SMT did not hold that we had on YM. Also ES formed it as well before NQ, I believe. 10 o'clock, yeah, you can see the 10 o'clock candle was formed there. Why did I not trust it? Because higher time frame narrative, we are bullish, okay? So any opposing SSMTs or cracks, I do not care about. They're only going to act as retracements, okay? So yeah, with that being said, I hope that you guys found this recap useful. Also, one little extra thing that I just need to show you guys. If we go to indicators and we do this, see that? Keep your eyes peeled. That'll be coming out very soon for any of you TCISD traders. If you don't know what TCISD is, recommend to go check out my YouTube video on that. This is my own concept, which I use to enter every single trade that I take, okay? And now it shows up on my screen whenever it pops up. Does all the work for me. Can't complain about that. So I'll be releasing a YouTube video about that very soon as well, which I don't think you guys will want to miss. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Also be releasing a how to find your daily bias video on Sunday. Definitely keep your eyes peeled for that as well. That is going to help so many of you guys out. A lot of you guys are struggling with how to build a narrative, draws on liquidity, all that type of stuff. and the main thing I do for that is candle closures and SSMT. Okay, so definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. And yeah, without further ado, I'll see you guys either on Sunday's video or next week for next week's trade recap. Okay, so yeah, take it easy guys, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.